the Epping trial, the asylum seeker has been found guilty of sexual assault on a girl aged 14. I'm going to read into this more from the Times, you guys. So, Hadush Kebatu, whose arrest sparked nationwide anti-immigration protests, was found guilty of 5 counts, including assaulting another woman and harassment. Now, why am I covering this story, which many of my viewers and subscribers will be a little bit concerned about, because they wouldn't want me to talk about a certain story like this. Now, the main context of the reason that I'm covering this is I want people to understand something, okay? And this is really, really important, okay? We're talking about one specific asylum seeker here. We are not talking about every single asylum seeker in the UK, or every single migrant, or every single non-EU citizen, non-UK citizen living in the UK. We're talking about one person. Yeah? Okay, are you following me? Are you following me for all those people who have been rioting and protesting? Are you following me here? Okay, we're talking about one person. Yeah. Okay. Right. Good. Yeah, because I have to talk to you slow, because some of you are not getting, because I know some of those people who are rioting and protesting about all this don't have very much of a functioning brain, so I have to talk slowly to them. Right. So this is really important here. Right. One asylum seeker that has been found guilty of sexual assault of a girl aged 14 does not mean, in your mind, that every single asylum seeker, every single person that's come across on that boat, every single person who is claimed asylum in the UK, does not automatically mean they are sexual predators. And if that is your distinction, then you are a racist. Because if that is your prerogative, if that is your mindset on that, and this is really, really important. Yeah, if you say to me, no, I'm not a racist, but I'm concerned about these asylum seekers and where they come from, you have absolutely every right to say that, and you have every right to believe that. But you must not assume that every single asylum seeker is a sexual predator, because if you do, that makes you racist, because you don't make that distinction when it comes to white people. You don't make that distinction when a sexual assault case that takes place with a black or a white person that may be British, you don't seem to say anything then. So you have to make that distinction. It's really, really important. Yeah? It's really, really important. Okay? And it's also very important to hear the story of the case as well. And I do want to make that case. Now, by the way, I do not have any sympathy for anyone who... I do not have any sympathy for this man, regardless of what every situation is and what he went through. Because when you come to the UK, yeah, you come to the UK and you go through what you went through. This guy went through multiple countries, yeah, from Ethiopia to come to the UK, yeah, to claim asylum in the UK, right? He went through all this, yeah, came here, claimed asylum, crossed the boat, right? Yeah, and he has disavowed himself from ever becoming a UK citizen. Yeah, the man should be deported. The man should be sent back, and he should never be allowed to set foot in the UK again. He should be, absolutely. No question whatsoever about it. Because if you come here to the UK and you think it's okay to do this kind of thing, you deserve to be deported. No questions asked, you're gone. But it's very important to make the distinction that we should not assume that everyone who comes across on the boat is going to do that. Yeah, you shouldn't assume the worst out of people, because sometimes they could actually tend to be somebody that's really, really good and have very good intentions. Don't always assume people. Yeah, it's really, really important. Anyways, I hope that helped clear this up. So let's read the story, okay? So an Ethiopian asylum seeker who provoked a nationwide protest when he sexually assaulted a 14-year-old schoolgirl and a woman near a migrant hotel in Essex has been convicted. I'm just going to say Kebatu because I can't say his full name. 38 approached a group of children and asked the girl back to his room at the Bell Hotel in Epping to make lovely African babies on July the 7th. This was the first thing, okay, that he was said to have done. He described the girls as very pretty and said age did not matter, and then he tried to kiss the girl who was sitting on the bench with friends. This is absolutely uncalled for. The victim... I'm not an animal, says the asylum seeker in Epping sexual assault case. Okay. Well, maybe If I'm going to be honest, if you're not an animal, maybe you shouldn't approach schoolgirls, especially by yourself. The victim, who cannot be identified, told detectives, "I froze, I couldn't move, I didn't know what to do, I couldn't process anything." Chelmsford Magistrates Court was told that Kebatu, who paid €1,800 to travel to Britain on a rubber dinghy, followed the girl the next day and tried to make her kiss her male friend. He then put his hand on the girl's thigh. A woman, whose Kebatu also touched without consent, confronted him and branded him a paedophile. On Thursday, District Judge Christopher Williams found Kebatu guilty of 2 counts of sexual assault and single charges of attempted sexual assault, harassment without violence, and attempted to incite a girl to engage in sexual activity. Kebatu, a sports teacher in his native country, denied the charges. Well, if you shouldn't have... Well, look, he's been found guilty. And my position is this. You should not be approaching these girls in any way, shape, or form. He only has himself to blame, honestly. Williams said, "You've been convicted of all the offences. The next stage of these proceedings is to obtain a pre-sentence report. The case is more likely to result in an immediate custodial sentence, and you should be prepared for that." Kebatu, who was assisted by a Tyrrhenian interpreter, held his hand to his face as he learnt his face. He will be sentenced at the court on September the 23rd. The girl's father and the adult victim were present in the public gallery and left the courtroom without making a comment. I don't need to say anything. Stuart Hubbard, the Assistant Chief Constable at Essex Police, said, "First and foremost, I'd like to pay tribute to both our young victim and our adult victim and every witness who came forward, and ensuring the evidence put before the court was strong and true." Quote, "We are acutely aware of this incident and attracted widespread public interest. We have always said that we treat and investigate every report made to us without fear or favour. This investigation has been solely about gathering evidence and showing the actions of Hadush Kebatu on July the 7th and 8th, and he had been convicted of these offences and will be sentenced appropriately." Hopper added, "We understand the strength and feeling in our community, but no crime should become an excuse for the disorder that we have seen in times in Epping." Absolutely. Regardless of how you feel about this case in particular, does not give you the right to assume that every single person, and I said this about Epping already, just because one person has been found guilty of a sexual assault does not mean that you can assume everyone in that hotel is as well. And this is why I advocated for the closure of Epping Hotel, because people will make that assumption. And you should not make assumptions about people. You should not. It's really important, for you to not make these distinctions. Because you don't do it with white people, you don't do it with black people in the UK, so don't do it with asylum seekers. The incident sparked widespread anger in the Essex town, and residents said tensions have reached boiling points, and it led to a wave of demonstrations at other migrant hotels across England and Wales, which was nonsense. Because again, you're making assumptions that they're all the same, and they're not, and that's racism, pure and simple. Following Kebatu's arrest, dozens of protesters chanted "Protect our kids." Well, again, you want to say protect our kids, but where are you when other nationalities are doing them? When British citizens are doing them, or people who have been doing these cases, where are they? They're nowhere to be seen. I don't see these people going out chanting outside of the Houses of Parliament saying do more on tackle more victims of crime or rape crime that's being done in the UK. Not just asylum seekers, not just one asylum seeker case, but what about the white people who are perpetrators of these? What about black people who are perpetrators in the UK? I don't see you guys protesting outside Westminster doing them. This is the thing. They won't do it when it comes to our own citizens who are responsible for doing these things. But when it comes to us, an immigrant, they have a different perspective here, and that makes you essentially racist. So they lined the street outside the Bell Hotel. Some activists wore blue "Make Britain Great Again" hats. Okay, because that's definitely going to help it. One woman told reporters, "It's really upsetting. I've lived in these towns all my life, and to hear that children are being sexually abused is horrendous." Again, really have to stress this. One person, one case does not mean everyone is the same. Really important context add. Okay? But it's not just here, it's all over the country in Europe. We want the government to do something about it. The last protest ended in violence, but I'm afraid it's at boiling point. So it's all over this woman is claiming it's all over the country. Give me examples where it's happening in other places. Now, give me actual examples of other places in England where this is happening with other asylum seekers. Please, give me 50 examples. Can you give me 50 examples? You're saying it's happening all over the country. Give me examples. Yeah, I challenge anyone to give me at least, bare minimum, 10. Yeah, I'm challenging anyone in the comments. Yeah, give me at least 10 examples of where they are happening. At least 10. Yeah, but you won't even do that. It's nonsense. The last protest ended in violence, but I'm afraid it's at boiling point. During the trial, Kibu admitted to saying hello to the children, but denied asking the girl for a kiss or invited her to his room. He said, "I'm not a wild animal. I can't do this kind of thing." So he's claiming that he didn't. He just said hello to them, apparently. He later engaged in conversation with an adult woman, said she was very pretty and put his hand on her thigh when she offered to help with him with his CV, the court was told. Stuart Crown, for his prosecution, asked the woman, "How did it make you feel?" The adult victim, who cannot be named, said, "Shocked, uncomfortable. I said I didn't like to be touched." Moments later, the woman became angry when she saw the girl move Kibu's hands from her leg. He is a grown man and she is a child. It was inappropriate, the woman said. Dashcam footage of the woman remonstrating with Kibu and audio of the 999 call were played to the court. She said he was a weirdo paedophile, adding she's a 14-year-old girl. I'm not going to say that other bit. Footage of Kibu's arrest showed him becoming tearful after he was handcuffed. Kibu travelled through Sudan, Libya, Italy and France before boarding a small boat to the UK. He was living at the Bell Hotel for a week before his arrest. In a court, Kibu gave his age as 38, but he's believed to be 41. Now again, this man deserves everything that's getting to him, because he's been found guilty of these crimes. Okay, now there's always a possibility that sometimes not all the evidence is put there, but unfortunately for him, he's been found guilty of these crimes, and he faces the full wrath of the law. And yes, he absolutely deserves to be deported back to his country and never to be seen the light of day again. But again, I really have to stress this, because again, this is really, really important. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Just because one asylum seeker has been found guilty does not mean every single asylum seeker is the same. Yes, you have every right to be concerned about some of these people and some of their checks. Of course they do. Of course they need to be checked and need to be kept an eye on. Yes, but we should not assume that every single asylum seeker is a sexual predator. And according to statistics, they are much, much lower in comparison to our own people in the UK. But people don't want to look at numbers and statistics. They don't want to look at facts. They want to look at opinion polls, the rumour mill, and listen to Nigel Farage, who when he tells them that the moon is made of cheese, they will believe that the moon is made of cheese. Don't jump to conclusions. All I am saying to you guys is stop, think, before you make an assumption about people. It's really, really important. Yes, this person deserves to have the book thrown at him and deserves to be deported. But do not accuse every single asylum seeker of being the same. It's wrong to make false accusations about people when you don't know about anything that they have done and what they have been through. Yeah? It's really, really important to make that point. So for those with common sense, what do you guys honestly think? What do you guys make of this man? And he's been found guilty of these claims. Let me know your thoughts and more down in the comment section below. If you found this video interesting and informative, hit the like button, share it across social media, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out Rumble and Patreon for exclusive content. And if you want to financially support me and the work that I do here, instead of wasting your money on Reform UK, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Join button is literally below the screen. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.